Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Dane, your host of the Rock and Metal Guardian. Sorry that I could not post a video yesterday, my normal last day of the week, which is Friday. So here is a Saturday video to make up for yesterday's absence. In case you didn't see the post in the community section on my page, taking care of a sick kitty and on top of work, just not getting a whole lot of sleep. So again, apologies about that. So anyway, today's video is about my top 25 favorite songs by the band Rush, my favorite band of all time. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So we'll start with number 25 and work our way to number 1. And then before I get to number 1, I'll have some honorable mentions and then I'll give number 1. All right, so got a few CDs here to go through. My first song, my 25th, favorite song by Rush is Subdivisions, the first song on Signals. So many of us could relate to this when it came out. Now, a lot of today's youth don't listen to rock music that much, but if they heard this, a lot of them could relate because dealing with how people are exiled or alienated because of the way they dress, the way they look, their behavior, that sort of thing. And so growing up in high school, I could relate to this somewhat. We all experienced that. But on top of the theme of the song, you get some really good music out of this. It's my favorite song on the album. It's just I didn't want to say, I was going to say gut-wrenching, but that's not right. It's just powerful and emotional, and it taps into your emotion. So Subdivisions and Geddy Lee's voice is the whole song, all three of the gentlemen here playing their hearts out, but Geddy Lee's voice and the synths are what make this song. All right, so number 24, sticking with kind of their middle period here, is Between the Wheels from Grace Under Pressure, and this is the closer of the album. And all the songs I'm presenting to here, go figure, it's Rush, or just lyrically and thematically rich, and just a very powerful song. It's not emotive in the way that Subdivisions is, but it's just it grabs your attention. It's just got some great hooks in it. I hate the word catchy, but it is catchy, and it just grabs you and never lets go. It's just a powerful song. And sticking with this album, number 23 is the opener, Distant Early Warning. I almost switched these, and by the way, I've been taking this video's been in the making for, I would say, over a month, maybe longer, maybe even going back to before I started the channel, because I found an old list and I was like, oh, this is way old and it's missing a couple albums or that sort of thing, because I made it before some of these albums came out. Anyway, so that's how old it is. Again, if you've seen one of my previous videos, since I was a young man, well, you don't know, sorry. Since I was a very young man, 7, 8 years old, I've always been fond of making lists of things. So anyway, so Distant Early Warning, great, arguably, song about being on the verge of the apocalypse and worrying about your loved ones. But it's got some great synths to it. It's so different from, not counting Subdivision, it's so different from Subdivision, what came before the front end of the catalog. But this is just a great song, Just an Early Warning. I didn't like it. Well, I liked it at first, but I didn't like it as much as I do now. It took me, I don't know, it took me a while for it to sink in. I was in high school when this came out. I was a sophomore. It probably took a couple months before it grabbed my attention. And it's okay, now I get it. I didn't let myself be brainwashed or conditioned by keep listening to it. One day it just happened to click. So Just an Early Warning is number 23. Now, next is, dun dun dun, drum roll please. Gee, did I bring it out? It's right in front of me. How's that work? Part of the human condition. Something's right in front of us and we don't see it. All right, on the Vapor Trails album, the song Peaceable Kingdom. Kingdom, and it's the fourth song. And this is the song that is just, well, I'm going to turn to some of the lyrics here. Talk of a peaceable kingdom, talk of a time without fear. The ones we wish would listen are never going to hear. And this is the song that has, and you can see it in the liner notes, this is the song that has the tarot card theme to it. The whole album has a tarot card theme, but this song is the tarot card song because he mentions the justice against the hanged man, Knight of Wands against the hour, swords against the kingdom, time against the tower. The lyrics on here are just fabulous, and the music, of course, is great. So Peaceable Kingdom comes in at number 22. Number 21, my favorite song on their last album, Clockwork Angels, is Headlong Flight. The bass, very reminiscent and I think intentional of Caress of Steel's Bastille Day. This is their heaviest song on the album. This is just fantastic. I admit I air drum and air bass and air guitar to Headlong Flight whenever I listen to it. And I listen to this song quite often when I'm in the mood for Rush. All right. Now, back to Vapor Trails, because as Headlong Flight was 21, Sweet Miracle is 20. And this is a very emotive song. There are a lot of emotive songs on this album. This album, if you ask me, is very underrated. I wasn't walking on water. I was standing on a reef when the tide came in. So it's literal and figurative lyrics here from Pert. Oh, sweet miracle of life. I wasn't walking with angels. I was talking to myself, etc. And Geddy Lee's voice here is just captivating. So now, sticking with the same album. So Sweet Miracle is 20. Earthshine is 19. And that's the song that comes before Sweet Miracle. Earthshine, a beacon in the night. I can raise my eyes to Earthshine. Earthshine, a jewel out of reach for a dream to rise to Earthshine. And then there's other lyrics, of course. I just like this a smidge better than Sweet Miracle. It's in the same vein. It's extremely emotive, extremely captivating, almost intoxicating, if not intoxicating, if that makes sense. And then sticking with the same album is, so Earthshine was 19, Vapor Trail, almost the title track because the album is Vapor Trails, the song is Vapor Trail, no S, number 18. Stratospheric traces of our transitory flight. That's a tongue twister, right? But still great. Trails, another T sound of condensation held. And then the chorus is just fabulous. Horizon to horizon, memory written on the wind, fading away like an hourglass, grain by grain, swept away like voices in a hurricane in a vapor trail, right? And then the way the atmospheric components of the song give me goosebumps, whether they're samples or synths or I'm not sure what it is, maybe Moog. Taurus pedals, I'm not sure, but it's just fabulous. It's just great. It's just so captivating. This is probably the most, Vapor Trail, the somewhat title track is, I think, of extreme. There are so many captivating songs, but this is the one that I think moves me and resonates with me the most. So that's that. Next is, here we go. This was picking it out, was, well, Roll the Bones album, but not the song Roll the Bones. The song that I picked here to be in my list, there's two other songs I like on here, but Dreamline. And some great lyrics here. Of course, the music is fabulous. Love this back album cover. That kind of would have made a better album cover if you ask me, with the wishbones in the sea, standing upright kind of like the St. Louis Arch. They travel in the time of the prophets, on a desert highway straight to the heart of the sun, like lovers and heroes, and the restless part of everyone. We're only at home when we're on the run. Nice paradox, on the run. And then the chorus, when we are young, wandering the face of the earth, wondering what our dreams might be worth, learning that we're only immortal for a limited time. Great paradox, great lyrics, great song all around. So, Dreamline, Roll the Bones. Next is, have to include this one, Working Man from the debut, the closer of this album, and this is the perfect place to put this on the album. Everything's kind of leading up to that. The other two songs I like the most on here, I like the whole album, but very bluesy, right? Finding My Way and What You're Doing. What You're Doing is my second favorite song on the album. Working Man, of course, an homage to Zeppelin and Cream. Got a killer guitar solo. That Eric Clapton / Jimmy Page jammy bluesiness. And, of course, Working Man is the song that arguably broke Rush into the mainstream, jumpstart their career thanks to the radio station in Cleveland. And there was Donna, I think was her name. I can't remember her last name, is the one who began championing them. Of course, Cleveland being a working man city, blue collar, right? My dad wasn't a Rush fan when I was growing up, but he could appreciate the song for its content, being a working man himself, someone who worked in the shipyard industry his whole life. Anyway, so Working Man coming in at number 16. Next is Limelight from Moving Pictures. An almost word-for-word quote from Shakespeare. You have Neil Peart's comment on, I can't pretend a stranger is a lonely friend. I can't pretend a stranger is a long-awaited friend. We get that part of his personality. Excuse me. Hope everyone's staying hydrated with all the heat. Anyway, so back to this. The great killer guitar solo from Alex, right? Getty's on fire. The whole band is on this album, right? And just, and I can relate to what Neil's saying because, and it sticks with me today because I'm not one of these people who go, I like to go to Comic-Con and that kind of thing, but I'm not one of these people who would go and act like, a certain actor is my friend. I've never understood that. Would I like to get autographs? Absolutely. From, musicians, athletes, some athletes, actors and actresses and other famous people, but they're not my friends. I may look up to them and admire them for who they are as a person and or because of their music, but they're not my friends. Would it be cool if they were? Probably. But anyway, so I get where Neil's coming from, but I also get where Alex and Getty are coming from by, having meet and greets. Metallica was known for doing meet and greets when they were, around the first four. I don't know if they still do that, the first four albums or so, and complaining about when they were growing up and, the band they would go see would just, keep walking, right? So I get both sides of the argument. So Limelight. Everybody wants to be famous, right, is the argument. And then there's, of course, consequences to that. Next is A Passage to Bangkok. I don't like the lyrical content so much because that's not my jam. That's not my lifestyle. But I respect the fun that the guys are having talking about it. And it's kind of cool, But what I love about the song is that it is a fun song. Besides, I don't agree with the lyrics, but I love the guitar solo. It's one of their heavier songs on this album. It's heavy, arguably one of their heavier songs in their catalog. So not passing judgment on the subject matter. It's just not my cup of tea. But I do like the song, and therefore it makes number 14. All right. Also like the live version, but I like the studio version just a tad bit. The guitar solo is more richer on the studio than it is on, say, Exit Stage Left or other releases. Now, this might come as a surprise to many people. So, Passage to Bangkok was 14. Number 13, In the End, from Fly By Night. This is another closer. When I first heard this song, this is 6 minutes and 46 seconds. When I first heard this, I felt like I'd already heard. When I heard this for the first time, something about it made me feel like I had heard it for the first time. And I heard this when I was 13 or 14, maybe. I remember getting on the bus to go to Sound Warehouse to buy it with my allowance. I've told that story before on this channel. But I love the lyrics. I don't think there are lyrics in here. Let's see. I remember looking at the back cover and, I didn't buy it at first. Always going in and looking at it. Should I buy this? Should I buy this? And I'm glad that I did. Let's see. Yeah, boy, these lyrics are tiny. I can see what you see. I can see what you mean. It just makes me longer. I can feel what you feel. It just makes you stronger. Strong. It starts off kind of slow, and then the guitar kicks in and it gets heavy. That riff, is just amazing. And don't quote me on this, but I remember years later, Michael Bolton, before he turned all commercial, and he had a kind of a hard rock or sort of hard rock sound on the Fool's Game album. And I think it's that song, Fool's Game, the title track, where the guitar solo sounds like the same guitar solo from In the End. Anyway, perhaps a happy accident. Anyway, so In the End, and I love the version on All the World's a Stage as well. This is my favorite version, though, the definitive version for me. In the End might be a surprise for some of you, but I just love it. All right, next is Hemispheres, Book 2. I'm sorry, Hemispheres, Cygnus X1, Book 2. Actually, it's the other way around. Cygnus X1, Book 2, Hemispheres, total time 1804. The conclusion or part 2 to Cygnus X1, The Voyage. And my only complaint about the song is a slight one, is like very similar to The Fountain of Lamnath on Caress of Steel. The way the songs are connected is a little, it doesn't flow as well as, say, how things connect on 2112. So they've kind of reverted back to that Caress of Steel thing where you have that motif that doesn't work as well in connecting the songs. But other than that, and that's a drum part from Phil perhaps. But the song is still, an A, if I'm going to give it a grade. Or it's still a masterpiece. It's just a small caveat for me. I listen to it all the time when I'm in a mood for an epic song, or sometimes I will listen to both A Farewell to Kings and this album back to back, as if I was listening to a double album. Or I will listen to both Cygnus songs back to back to get the whole story. I wonder if you can still get the comic book based on these two stories. Anyway, it's out there somewhere. I think it's a Marvel release. Anyway, so you have Prelude, great intro, Apollo, bringer of wisdom, Dionysus, bringer of love, Armageddon, the battle of heart and mind, Cygnus, bringer of balance, and the Sphere, a kind of dream. While I don't have a favorite section. If I was to forced to say what's your favorite, it'd probably be Armageddon. And the last part, though, is just a great conclusion. The Sphere, a kind of dream. Geddy's voice is perhaps one of his best, if not the best here, and it's very emotive, and the theme is rich, and it's just great. It's a great way to close the song. And anyway, so Cygnus X1 Book 2, Hemispheres, the epic track on this album. Great album. All right. So that was number 12. Number 11 is a live version of The Trees, so including Brune's Bane. So Brune's Bane / The Trees, I think when it comes to The Trees and La Villa Strangiato, I think the live versions are the definitive for me personally. I think they're better. They're more emotive for me for whatever reason. So anyway, Exit Stage Left version of The Trees, including Brune's Bane, which is Terry Brown's nickname, Brune. So a tribute to his genius as a producer and engineer. So that was number 11. Finally getting into my top 10. Number 10, Tom Sawyer. Oh, why is it not higher, right? No. It's a great song. This is, for some people, they never need to hear the song again. I get it, not for me. Most of the time I play this whole thing through, sometimes not, but depending on my mood. Tom Sawyer is a great song about nonconformity. When I listen to this whole album, including Tom Sawyer, I'm 14 all over again. And music does that. It brings back memories, right? So got to have Tom Sawyer, number 10. We'll come back to this, maybe. Yes, right now, number 9, Vital Signs. Vital Signs. I like Vital Signs better than Tom Sawyer. Not always. For the longest time, Tom Sawyer was my favorite, and then something else became my favorite, and it's not my favorite today. Vital Signs is number 9, as I said. This is a song that I will air drum, air bass, and air guitar to. Mostly the drums, even though I'm a bass player myself. Neil's drums, man, are just phenomenal here. So is Tom Sawyer, right? And another song about nonconformity. And I can't sing to save my life, but I will often, when I'm alone, of course, I will sing to Vital Signs. Of all the songs on this album, I will sing to Vital Signs. It's probably the only one I will. That's how much I like it. Got to deviate from the norm. I will, it's just so powerful, and the message is great. We need to get out of our comfort zone, right? We have to get out, I hate this expression now, but think outside the box and stop being stuck in a bubble, that kind of thing. When it comes to creativity, the song is about the creative process and so many other things. So advice on how to live your life. Anyway, great song, great album. All right. Now, a different album now, number 8, Free Will, my favorite song on this album. And Free Will I refer to as By Torn the Snow Dog Light. And what I mean by that, it's not an epic tale. Just checking on my cat. Sorry. Why is it By Torn the Snow Dog Light? It's because musically you have the same concept going on. Like By Torn the Snow Dog, in Free Will you have... or it seems that the guitar and bass are at war with each other, and they're trading licks, like in By Torn the Snow Dog. So it reminds me of that. And then the guitar solo, wow. I don't know what kind of effects Alex is using, but it's just fabulous. So you can't do that without an effects pedal. There's no doubt in my mind. So Free Will, number 8. Number 7, shocking. Cygnus X1, Book 1, The Voyage. Very jazzy. Whole band's on fire. Geddy's wailing his butt off, perhaps like nowhere else, perhaps. And of course, you're left in suspense because the main character, the protagonist's body is torn apart as he is consumed by the event horizon of the black hole. And then you get the heartbeat right at the end. And then you get the acoustic guitar. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. And then the needle lifts up, right, if you're playing it on vinyl. Just goosebumps while talking about the song. All right, Cygnus X1, The Voyage, number 7 from the Farewell to Kings album. All right. I got to keep reaching for CDs here. Back to this album. Number 6, By Tor and the Snow Dog, the studio version. In a previous video, I talked about how I like the live version better. I've changed my mind in the last couple weeks, and here's why. While I still, it's splitting hairs perhaps. While I love the version on here, like I like what you're doing better on here than I do the studio album. And for the longest time, By Tor and the Snow Dog live version was better because of the atmospheric stuff that's added that's not on here, and the homage to Jimmy Page, I guess, with the bowstring stuff. And like it sounds like, or it's trying to demonstrate the Snow Dog's descent into hell. But I realized that the guitar solo on here is better, much better. So that's why I decided to change. That's why I changed my mind that I like this version better. I still love the live version, and I listen to it all the time, but this is better. So By Tor and the Snow Dog, the studio version on Fly By Night. I don't think I have to come back to that one. All right, number 5. Sorry, folks. Number 5 is Red Barchetta. This is a song about a car. It's called the Red Barchetta, right? And I'm quoting from the live version from Exit Stage Left, but I like the studio version better. This is my favorite song on the album. Wasn't always. My favorite song for the longest time was Tom Sawyer. And then this, and then Vital Signs would be a close third. So Red Barchetta, just a great science fiction song. If you like cars, right, that kind of thing. It's just so powerful and captivating. All right. Oops, got to go back. That seems to be a theme here. All right. Number 4. Sometimes this song is my favorite, but after thinking for the longest time, Villa Strangiato is number 4, the live version. Again, as I said a few times already on this channel, why do I love the song? Why do I love this so much? Because first of all, it's because of the blend of, say, jazz and hard rock, and maybe a smidge of classical, and so many other textures. It's the guitar solo around the 3-minute mark and this is much better in my estimation than the studio version on Hemispheres. But back to the guitar solo, it's because it sounds like the guitar is crying. It is crying. It has that crying feel. It's weeping, right? And it's just so emotional. It's probably the most emotional guitar solo that I can think of. That it is, for me, the most emotional guitar. It sounds like Alex is pouring his heart, soul, and mind into the guitar, and it's speaking for him. It's coming from his heart. And then the whole song is great, but that's my favorite part, and it's just so darn great. So La Villa Strangiato, the live version, and another reason why I like, and this is a small part of it, is because the opening is not acoustic, and I like the acoustic stuff on the original, but I love the shredding he does, and it's short. Too bad it's not a little longer, but it's so great way to introduce the song. So La Villa Strangiato, number 4, coming in at number 4. Number 3, A Farewell to Kings. There's my little guy. He's got a little cone around his neck. He's hanging in there. He's doing much better. He's going to be fine. That cone will come off in a few days. So A Farewell to Kings, the title track of A Farewell to Kings. I have the Farewell to Kings shirt on that I got from Etsy. Or, no, it was either Etsy or Redbubble. I've been wanting that shirt for a long time. So A Farewell to Kings. This song is just... The drums, we talk about Vital Signs. The drums on this album are in the song are so heavy. You got some hard rock or heavy metal going on, but at the same time you have that classical feel. The subject matter is kind of a classical feel, medieval as well, because of the album cover, right? It fits with that album cover. And the message is great too, as well. So you have stuff like, if I could get the liner notes out, sometimes that's tricky, right? Because sometimes it's too thick. But I just love these photos. I need to get this on the vinyl again, even if I can get it used. When they turn the pages of history, when these days have passed long ago, will they read of us with sadness for the seeds that we let grow? We turn our gaze from the castles in the distance, hence the album cover, right? And talk about the past. Cities full of hatred, fear, and lies, withered hearts and cruel, tormented eyes, scheming demons dressed in kingly guise, beating down the multitude and scoffing at the wise. Still applies to today, right? The hypocrites are slandering the sacred halls of truth. And then the drums come in, so great. Ancient nobles showering their bitterness on youth. Can't we find the minds that made us strong? Great plea to make the world a better place, right? And then, of course, the way the song ends. Can't we find the minds to lead us closer to the heart? Which foreshadows a song later on in this album. So heavy, so great. And then... So number 3 is A Farewell to Kings, and I got to reach back into my pile here. This has to be in my list, and why is this not number 1? Number 2, the title track 2112. the great opening section, the overture, the echo of the guitar. It's just, oh wow. And then the Temples of Syrinx. And then you get the more soft-spoken, the discovery of the guitar part, where our protagonist finds it and then starts tuning it, right? Kind of reminiscent of the acoustic piece on Fragile, where Steve Howe's tuning his guitar. Then presentation, you have Geddy assuming both roles, the priest and the protagonist, and he's pleading to the priest, and then the priest wails that high-pitched wail that we love of Geddy sometimes, at least I do. And then so he's fussing at the protagonist. We don't need this guitar. It ruined us in the past. Get rid of it. We don't need it. And then you get that amazing guitar solo in presentation. Just one of my favorite guitar solos from Alex. And then you get Oracle the Dream, back to more soft-spoken kind of dreamy, atmospheric stuff, right? And then you get the soliloquy, kind of more the same, and then you get the grand finale. Attention, all planets of the Solar Federation, right? We have assumed control. It pans out, right? There's a great interview where and I forget who. I think Geddy sees the ending as happy, where Neil says no. It's out of the frying pan into the fire, kind of like he didn't use this analogy, but I'm going to Lord of the Flies. All right, so 2112. And again, great theme about, nonconformity, follow your dreams, follow your passion, etc., etc. And then finally, what could my number one be? This should not be shocking. It's Xanadu. And get the liner notes back out again. So Xanadu, an homage to Coleridge, right? Kubla Khan poem. And of course, Kubla Khan. Seeking the Sacred River Alph. That intro is just phenomenal. Starts with that Moog synthesizer or Taurus pedals, I'm not sure which, but it captivates you right off the bat. And then you get this slow, quasi-classical instrumental piece that builds up to the lyrics, right? And then very similar to the Fountain of Lamnath, the dangers of immortality, right? And then you get the repetition of I have dined on honeydew and drunk the milk of paradise. And that last time that Geddy sings that, again, assuming the role of assuming the role of someone going into Kubla Khan's pleasure dome that's been long abandoned to become immortal, right? He describes himself as a mad immortal man, right? So the second time, or the final time, that for I have dined on honeydew and drink the milk of paradise is the opposite. The first time he says this, he's ecstatic and excited. Hey, I'm going to become immortal, right? And then the second time, this is a regret line. This is a curse. This is not a blessing anymore. Oh my God, what have I done, right? So there you have it, everybody. My favorite Rush songs. Oh, I was going to give, I did it opposite. I was going to give my honorable mentions before I did my number one, but that's okay. So let me give you my honorable mentions, and this is in no order. So Cinderella Man from A Pharaoh to Kings. Circumstances from Hemispheres. Bravado from Roll the Bones. That's a close second to Dreamline. And then Ghost of a Chance, also a close second to Dreamline. Those three songs are my favorite on Roll the Bones. Test for Echo and Driven from Test for Echo. Those are the only two songs I really like or play from that album. One Little Victory from Vapor Trails. Ceiling Unlimited from Vapor Trails. Ghost Rider from Vapor Trails. YYZ from Moving Pictures. The Camera Eye from Moving Pictures. And Red Sector A from Grace Under Pressure. So there you have it, folks. These are my top 25 favorite Rush songs of all time. Don't forget to click the notification button for all upcoming videos. And go ahead, help me out and click the like and subscribe button to help the channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.